Okay, so you are able to hear me, right? I'm clear, right? Okay. This is general ledger. So whenever you click on any module, you will see the respective application here, respective tags, application tags. Here you can see all the required tags. So required tags means these are the mandatory tags you have to perform to work on this application. Okay. All tags means it includes mandatory as well as optional tags. Srini, I'm like clearly audible, right?
Okay, but you start. Okay, we'll get more disturbance. We'll let you know.
Okay.
Continue.
So we can start. How we can start with the application? So let me go to the system. So to start with, we have to create one user, right? Anybody want to access these applications? We have to create one new user so that they can log in into the application and start working or start configuring the application. So how can do it? So you just from Springboard, you can navigate to tool. From tool, you have to go to security console. Okay. So the security console manage all the security of the application, security and maintenance, and it maintains all the role-based access control. Whatever roles a user should get, how many users we can create in the applications. So depends on this security console menu. As you understand, this Oracle Cloud is a subscription-based service. Okay, so they charge, Oracle will charge how many users are using the application in your organizations. So based on the number of users, Oracle will charge amount for the application. User account. So what is the navigation? You can go to Springboard, you can go to tool. From tool, you can click on security console and you have to create user. Okay, so first thing what you have to do, create one user.
This user, so for the new application means when they want to use the SaaS application, so that time if you want to create new user, so this is the menu, sir.
Yeah, right.
Navigation.
Yeah. So basically, whenever you work in any organization, Oracle will provide one admin server. So in that, one person will get admin right to create user, and whenever people will join this. user you have to create.
Any new requirement or any new user we want to create, so that is the navigation.
Yeah, right, right.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. So I am going to create one new user, and you can see what are the things required. You have to give your email ID. You have to give your first name and last name. And you have to give one password. Add roles. If you click on add roles, the first two is very mandatory roles you have to give is the application implementation consultant. Okay. So you can see here, just I have typed few beginning words. So you will see a lot of roles here. Don't be confused. So you have to take application implementation consultant starting with Aura. You can see the role code. This is the name, Oracle Application Implementation Consultant. You have to click this one, which start with Aura_ASM. This is the one you have to select. So this role will give you access to do all the configuration in the system. You can say it's the consulting roles. Whenever you are going to implement something in financial or any module in cloud application, so this is the role is responsible to give you all the required access. So add this role member. Next thing is employee.
This is for employee.
Yeah. This is for employee. And similarly, you have-
Whenever we start to work with this Fusion, we have to do all these things.
yeah, this is the starting activities you have to do. Employee,
Okay.
add roles. So another user, another roles that is usually specifically for admin activities. And it's called IT security manager. So return users. Roles are set. So this is the required roles. Okay. These are the three roles you need. You can save it. Once you save it, you want to search. How you can search? Just type with training. First 3-4 words you can type here. Then training user. Your training user, just click on this. If you want to add further roles, because you know, this for the starting anything, you can, you have to add these 3 roles, but once you go forward, you need many other roles which are belongs to other applications, other modules. Like for finance, we have a lot of job applications or job roles. And we have to add these roles going forward. But we'll add when forward. So you just start edit and add roles. For the roles, you can add and save it. Click on done. So now let us try to log in with this user. Okay, we'll log in with this new user. So I am now with the new user I have created. So here, if you see, I'm able to get that option now. Setup and maintenance. So that is why I got, because I have assigned this role, application implementation consultant. So if you assign these roles, you will get this option, setup. Otherwise, you will not get setup and maintenance. So if you click on setup and maintenance, it will drive you to the setup area. So now we have, as I told you, we have these applications we have to implement. Take this as a project, like how, suppose you got some requirement to implement something. First, understand what is GL or general ledger. So it's the repository of all the accounts. Anything you do, activities like purchase, sale, you do any cash transactions, credit transactions, everything. Ultimately, they will move to this general ledgers. Okay. Take any generic example for your household expenses. You expenditure for your water bill, your electricity bills, and you expense for your fooding, your servant salary, driver salary. So these are different expenditures. Okay. So this expenditure will be managed through accounts payable, any expenses. Okay. Receivable, how you are getting the revenue, from which source you are getting revenue. Okay, you are getting house rent. Okay, you have other income source. Basically, what is your income source? Your house rent or your salary, your business, different kind of income source, and you are getting revenue. So revenue is handled in these modules. So I'm giving this household example because you will able to understand. So similarly, in big organizations, you have to handle employee salary, building rent, and marketing expenses, employee expenses, your R&D, like your research and development expenditures. So a lot of expenditures they have to incur, and how they will manage, and in these modules like accounts payable module. Similarly, cash management, how these expenditures are just for banking reconciliation, because all the transactions, any receipt or any payment, ultimately it will come to bank. Okay. So how you are handling the bank account and how you reconcile, because any revenue you got, it will get what it you will get it into your bank account. Any expenditure you do, you have to pay from your bank account. So inflow and outflow of your cash or fund, that is managed through cash management. Fixed asset means whatever the assets you have. Okay. Like your car, vehicle, two-wheeler, four-wheelers, your buildings, your computers, laptops, all these you can like fixed assets. Okay. Similarly for company, any company, they have a lot of employees who have assigned to assets, like your they will give you laptops, machinery, office equipment. A lot of assets will be there. How we can manage these assets in Oracle applications? Okay. Expenses means employee expenses. You are traveling somewhere, okay, for official visit to outside, inside India or outside India. You will have accommodations, hotel expenditures, airfares, boarding. How they will be handled? So that will be handled through this expenses model. Okay. So all these activities, you can call this as subledger models. Okay. So all these 5 models, they are subledger models. General ledger is the main model where all these activity will be flow to this model. Okay. So keep accounts payable, receivable, fixed asset, cash management, expenditures. So these are all subledger models, and any activity you made and create in these modules, it will move to this general ledger modules, because all these modules are integrated to GL modules or general ledger module. Integrated to subledger. So why it is moving to general ledger? Because every month we have to get the profit, right? What is your expenditure? What is your revenue? How much profit you earned for that month or for that year, right? So you have to calculate. If you are doing business, you want to know like how much expenditure I am doing and how much profit I earn, what the income I earn, and income minus expenditures. So your final profit and what is the balance sheet and profit and loss account I have to maintain in general ledger. Any question? You now got some understanding on the modules, right? Application modules. Yes, let me know if you have any question.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
This is for employee purpose or employer purpose?
Business to for official purpose, not
Okay.
any personal expenditure. This will not be paid by office, right? Suppose we are going traveling on site for official visit, then this kind of expenditure will be handled through employee traveling, like employee expenses, the expenses model.
Sir, expenses and account payable.
Mhm.
These two things are there. So account payable, whatever the expenses, if we will give the any amount to the from the company is giving any amount to the employee, so it will go to the account payable only. Why the expenses and account payable is different?
Accounts payable, it will be external suppliers. It will handle all the external supply. You are purchasing from external party, like all the suppliers, vendors, okay? And this expenditure only specific to your employee expenses. So this expenses model also integrated to accounts payable. So what will happen? They have segregated the two things. Any expenditure made for employees, they have make it separate from any expenditure and they are purchasing from suppliers. Okay. So you can say these are the employees.
Okay, means if it is inside of the organization, it will comes under the expenses. If it is outside of the organization, means anything we are from the third party, for that account payable.
Yeah, right. So this expenses also ultimately it will move to accounts payable. Okay. But all the process will happen in expense module and then it will move to accounts payable. So anyway, this is also expenditures, right? Maybe the kind of expenditure is different. This expenditure you are doing for your employee, and these are we are dealing with the suppliers, vendors. But any after processing the expenditures, again this will move to this accounts payable. But modules are different.
So, hello.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, see, you say the temporary expenses, it's more like petty cash expenses in an organization point of view.
No, yeah, petty cash expenses is fine. You can handle in accounts payable also. But I'm telling out any expenditure you.
Payable may be relating to sundry debtors.
Yeah. Sundry expenses you can handle in payable.
Payable. Okay, fine.
Any sundry expenses, but anything related to employee, that is you have to do in expenditure module, expenses module. Either you can use the expense module or you can use any third-party tools. Like many organizations using SAP Concur. So you have to book and travel and then you have to book airfare, hotels. So all these expenditure will be interfaced to Oracle and it will come to AP modules. So depends upon organization requirement, how you are handling.
Okay.
So when we'll go through the expense model, we'll see how these expenditures they are flowing to accounts payable.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Sir, while creating the user as you have created as a means that application is not common for all the user when it depends on the type of user what we have created. Because see, means in like means some particular user only will get the access to the full application or what?
Yeah. Not it depends upon privilege you assign to the user. Suppose you are working in accounts payable department, they will not give you the
Okay.
other responsibility, right? Account receivable. You are only handling the supplier expenses. Suppose you are dealing with customers, you will only get the role for account receivable. You are handling the asset management, you will get only the asset roles. You are handling cash management, the user will. So every organization have different department, right? So based on their
Yes.
work responsibilities, roles will be assigned.
Hmm.
The
And as
application
per
will
the
be
role,
application will be the same, but the roles and privilege functionality, it will be different.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
So it is necessary to have an account, otherwise we are not able to use this.
Yeah. You can create your own account. Just the way I demonstrated here, you can create one new user for yourself and you can assign the roles, these 3 roles first. And travel, like navigate to each and each every areas to just familiar with the applications. Okay. You can create your own
Can you
user.
get
I
the
will,
access, sir?
yeah, I'll give that URL. You can try to create one user and assign roles.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So we'll start with general ledger actually. Maybe just I'll give some brief introduction to general ledger, then we can stop for today. Okay, once you navigate to this, don't be confused. By default, you will get the compensation management. You have to go to this LOB and select financial. Don't select any other application or any other module. Just select financial. And in financial also, you have to click on general ledger. General ledger, one by one, all the required tasks you have to complete. Okay. So before that, suppose you align to one project. The first step is you have to create one project. Under that project, you have to implement everything. For example, I'll go to here, tax. So you can see there is a small square button here. And you can go to manage implementation project. Here you can do the first option here. Manage implementation. So suppose for Tata company, you are going to create one finance application for implementations. So click on add button. So that is your okay. So this is our project name. Data implementation project. And under that project, what are the modules we want to implement? Just click on next. If you click on next, you will see all the offerings. Offerings means all the functionality or functional modules. It will be visible. You can add to your project. I want to implement financial. I'll select financial. Okay. So under financial, there are a lot of other options. So you have to select here, include. Okay. You have to include here. What I am to implement, I want to supplier invoice processing, that accounts payable. Select it, expenses. I want to process employee expenditures. Just select it. I want to implement fixed asset. Select fixed asset. Customer invoice processing, that is your account receivable. Because you are selling, right? If you are manufacturing some product, you are selling to your customer. So how you handle your receivable part, collection, how you are collecting money from your customers. Okay. So based on your requirement, just select all your offerings you want to implement. These are all not required for us. They are all HCM, procurement, supply chain management. Currently, we are not going to work on this. So, then we can save and open project.
Sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me. Any question?
Sir, yeah. We have selected this all and save. Okay. If we want, then another time we want something else, so we can edit it.
Yeah. You can add later point of time. Like you can add whatever you want to add in future.
Okay.
To this project. Yeah. So we have created our project. So these are the options we selected so that we'll be able to implement. But this is not a mandatory step, just to control your project. If you want to do everything under your project and just track the progress of your project implementation, you can create your project and assign the tags. But as I told, you can also directly handle all these things without creating a project. So if you want to add anything, you can just edit the project and you can add other offerings. Click on done. So now we created our implementation project. Okay. Then we have to start with general ledger module. Either you can directly create your setup or you can go to your project and do all your setup. That does not matter actually. Okay. So you can see a lot of tags here under general ledgers. How we can manage this. So what is legal entities, primary ledgers? Just we need to understand the concept first to start. And we have to know the organization structure. Okay. What is called organization structure? Okay. For example, for Tata company. It's a legal entity. You can call in Oracle term, because it's legally compliant to registered as a company under company law or Companies Act under India company law. So under Companies Act, they have to follow all the rules and regulations and deposit all the GST, tax, sell tax, etc. to the government of India. So that's why we can call it as a legal entity. Tata is a legal entity. Similarly, for Reliance and other companies who are registered under Companies Act, they will be called as a legal entity in Oracle term. So they will be defined as a legal entity first. And to work in the Oracle application, what the need actually for sales and purchasing? Anything you do under this company, you just let me know. You have to tell these questions. Suppose you are purchasing something or ordering something from Flipkart or Amazon. What are the basic things you need? Just tell me. Can able to anybody answer? Like, just think about like when you are purchasing some something some market, or you are ordering something from online stores. What exactly we need?
But the account.
Yeah, account. Suppose you put something account you need. You purchased some laptop. Okay. So you can call DJ laptop account. On which date you purchased? Okay. Suppose you purchased today. Okay. So we need a calendar for this, right? To control the dates or periods. Calendar. Okay. And in which currency you are purchasing? I purchased in Indian currency. So you need a currency. So this is the basic requirement to create a basic transaction. Right? Similarly, in Oracle, not only in Oracle, if you think about outside world also, these basic things you need to do any kind of transaction, purchase or sell transactions, right? Which currency you are purchasing, on which date you are purchasing, and what we are purchasing. Whether you are purchasing in credit or cash. So that's your accounting convention. Sometimes you are purchasing with a credit and you are doing the installment payment. Okay, you are not paying immediately. So you will get a credit purchase and you are paying later part of the time. That is controlled by your accounting convention. So that is in Oracle term, you can call it account. So account is nothing but chart of account. Oracle term, they are called 4C, the basic mandatory C. 4C. Okay. What are these 4C? Chart of account, calendar, currency, and convention. So not only in Oracle, in our day-to-day life also we need. We need a date to purchase, we need a currency. In which currency? You need a convention like you are purchasing through cash or credit card. And what you are purchasing? That is your chart of account. So in GL, we have to define all these components to work in GL. And to combination of all these 4C, which is called ledger. Okay. Once you define all these 4C, you will be able to create your ledger. And that ledger will be used everywhere in all your sub ledgers, like what you are purchasing, what you are paying, what you are getting. So this is done under this ledger only. Any question?
Sir, in the case of account convention, what it is in the place of cash or credit? So if in case of credit, so how we can make the entry in that account convention?
So that is just, I am giving one example. So convention means how you are dealing with your accounting in company, because just leave the individual case. In case of a big organization, how you are handling your accounting. Because if you are purchasing from supplier, you are not immediately paying the cash, right? So you have to, there will be some payment term, right? 30 days payment term, 45 days payment term. So within that date, we have to make payment. So that is called accounting convention. So what kind of accounting, accrual accounting or cash basis of accounting you are, which you can make it accrual, credit or accrual.
I have a small doubt over here, Srinivas. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, Krishna?
Yes, Srinivas.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, if cash comes into picture here, the account only won't come, right? Because say if the cash transaction will happen, I think so the entry won't at all come over here because the subledger won't hit, right? Only the on the transactions which are related to credit only will come into picture, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what even this is. Yeah. Thanks.
So mostly 99% of the organizations, they will only do the credit or accrual basis of transactions, standard accruals, or you can say the accounting will be standard accrual. And even if you are selling something, the customer is not going to pay you immediately. There will be some agreement or payment term, 30 days or 45 days or 15 days. And based on this payment term, they have to pay. If there is cash transaction, directly you can create your entry in GL itself. So all these 4C you have to configure. So in next classes, we will see how we can configure this 4C and how we can create our ledgers and other concepts. If you have any questions till now, you can ask.
Sir, I have a doubt. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, suppose you have given an example, this chart of account. No? If suppose a startup project has number of suppliers or number of customers, for each customer, for each supplier will be creating a chart of account.
No. Chart of account will be common. You mean the supplier account will be common.
No, see, suppose Tata has 3-4 major suppliers.
Mhm.
So for each one of them, you will be creating an account.
Not required, exactly. You can create one common account, that accounts payable.
That is enough.
Yeah, that is enough. But supplier will be different. You have to create 4 different supplier, but create one
Okay.
one account for them.
One account for them.
Yes.
So like the A, B, C, D, like that with the vendor name.
Yeah, vendor name will be 4. So on the part of vendors, you can extract the whatever we are purchasing from that vendor. But if you overall accounting, it will book to one account, that is payable account.
Only pay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. And I have another doubt. You
Yeah.
said like company registered under Companies Act will be having an organized structure and they will be using Oracle, right?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, while explaining this organization structure, you're telling this. Suppose if any of my supplier are non-registered means that is
Yeah,
not.
If supplier is non-registered, this is not our concern. You can get money. Like you can deal with the suppliers. The only thing is that if supplier is not registered, you have to take the responsibility of paying the tax on behalf of supplier.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that is self-assessed tax. That is a concept called self-assessed tax. That means if the supplier is not registered, you are purchasing
Okay.
something 1,000. So you have to calculate what percentage of tax I have to pay to the government. You are liable.
I'm liable.
Yeah.
So I have to see to that my vendor or supplier or customer is registered to be on safer side.
Safer side registered, but see, you cannot control that. If suppose you are you want
Required,
to,
we have to abide by the statutes or rules of the tax.
yeah. But this is not
I
the hard and fast rule that you only purchase from a registered supplier. There are a lot of suppliers who has not registered, right?
Yeah.
So you have to
And
take.
I have one more, right? You have said we can create number of users
Yeah.
while using the security control, right?
Yeah.
Using tool section security control. Suppose if I want, there are 10 users while starting a project, but I want to reduce it to later part to 6 users, I can remove them in between. Suppose the
Yeah, you
project is going on for
can
6
disable this, inactivate these users. Yeah.
months. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Any other question from anyone? Otherwise, we can wind up the call for today. We can reconnect. Srinivas, are you there?
Yes, my dear.
sir.
When will be the next class?
Yeah, tomorrow we'll see 8 AM, right? Tomorrow, is it fine?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Tomorrow same time? Srini,
Yeah, tell me.
tomorrow same time, 8 a.m.?
Same time, we can start. We'll
Okay then.
start with general ledger concept. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Yeah, just a bit. Be online all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.